did that. It's not to that reaction or nothing like that. But yeah, it's a good get. I mean, he's a great wrestler. I mean, I always enjoyed Jack Swagger when he was in WWE, but
Mm-hmm.
I don't think it was to the extent of like the first Nitro when you had Lex Luger show up at the end. I don't think it was to that extent.
Right. Oh,
It
yeah, of
was
course not.
star power. It wasn't a big star power
I don't
like
don't
you
like his
thought.
mullet-like hairstyle. I don't mind it. I didn't mind him in WWE. I didn't mind him doing his Bellator stuff. Of course, he hasn't really fought anybody, but apparently he's supposed to be facing someone more legit this time. And yeah, exactly. Red Sox said he's legit and believable. And he probably had to thank Jim Ross a little bit because I'm sure his Oklahoma ties and them probably being close to each other
Oh yeah,
probably
because
got
he
him in
got him in
there.
the WWE.
Yeah,
Yeah,
so
that's
I'm
right.
sure
Yeah.
Jim Ross had something to do with this, but hey, it's not no CM Punk or fucking anybody like 100, someone huge and mind blowing, but it's another guy that will help out the roster, another big guy because that's something they lack is a big guy. I mean, the biggest guy they got is Luchasaurus, so I thought he looked fantastic last night. I'm curious to see if they're actually doing a stable or just kind of this is just seems like everyone in that ring has beef with someone. I don't know what Jake's could be against Gold or not Gold, sorry, Dustin, Cody Guevara, Cody Jericho, Santana and Ortiz, the Young Bucks. So everybody has their issues with someone. So maybe it's not a full on stable, but maybe they just have all of them have beef with the elite. That's what it seems like. The All American thing needs to stop. What about the We the People chants? Do you think that needs to cut down, or do you think Jake Hager should kind of play off of it a little bit?
I don't think he should, but because it would just be like you're just trying to resurface your gimmick under a different name in the WWE or in AEW from
Mm-hmm.
the WWE. That happens a lot though. People do it all the time. But and Red Sox fan, it's not going to hurt me talking crap about CM Punk. I don't like the guy, so talk away while he got squashed by Mickey Gale. I love that. That was great. First round knockout.
Yeah, those
Talk
chants will
crap
always
about
haunt. Yeah, those chants are never gonna go away. So I'm curious to see how they maybe kind of maybe swing it a different route, or maybe he says, fuck all y'all with the We the People chants. But that's what we know him as.
I mean, to
So
be fair, Hogan did the same thing. So, and Hogan's considered the biggest box office draw ever, or not ever, but one of the biggest stars ever, and he did the same gimmick, WCW, TNA, everywhere. So
he does it in
he,
Bellator. Okay, all right, then makes sense. Makes sense. Now,
yeah, he was.
uh,
Gale was awesome.
overall thoughts of AEW, so we can get into NXT. Overall thoughts of AEW, maybe any negatives if you have any negatives towards the show last night, and your overall thoughts of the show.
I thought the show was great. I mean, great opening show. We know the ratings were really well for it, and that's awesome because nothing beats great pro wrestling. And that's what we got Wednesday night. And Wednesday night, I know we're not talking about NXT, but Wednesday night for me, it was just like felt like what it did back then to be a fan again, just
Mm-hmm.
watching wrestling and not trying to critique and pick apart every little thing you're watching. Oh, this show sucks, or
Bro.
oh, great, it's him, type thing. This is boring. It was just like fun again to watch wrestling on a Wednesday. Wednesday nights are the new fun night for wrestling because
Mm-hmm.
whether you watched one or hate one, it was just fun to watch them both because it was just fun going back and forth and seeing what's happening here and what they're doing. I thought the show overall was great for AEW and is nothing but good sign for wrestling and wrestling fans because we're all winners from this, no matter what side you want to be on. Or like Punk even said, don't pick a side, but it was so much fun for wrestling. And AEW, this is huge for them to get this kind of numbers last night and to do a great job like this on TNT. I
Yeah,
mean, it
congratulations to
was fun.
AEW. Props to them with the big rating 1.4. It's huge,
Yeah.
huge, huge, huge for them. Because we were here debating, are they even going to hit a million? We knew they were going to hit a million, but we didn't know exactly how much they were going to hit. And 1.4, hey, props to them. Congratulations to AEW. We all knew that they were going to knock it out of the ballpark with the ratings, but the huge question now, Dave, especially with NXT only getting over 800,000. And
which is so good.
also, Jay and Jack Evans look like long lost brothers. Prove me wrong. Yeah, they should split up the two segments. Didn't need the celebrity spot and then the SEU bit split it. Okay, Bob a little bit of, I guess not negative, but maybe a little bit of nitpicking there. I saw someone say, and everybody knows who Jimmy Cordeas is, right? The former WWE referee, and he had his kind of summary on the show, and I'm not agreeing with him, but I want to know what your guys' answer is to this. And he said it was an overall good show. There was some stuff that he didn't like, which was I think they announced they introduced the competitors in the title match, and then they went to commercial. So he had a couple of stuff that he didn't like, but his overall thoughts that it was a good show. But he said that AEW needed to knock it out of the park. They needed to hit a home run. And in his opinion, they hit a double and not a home run. What are your thoughts, Dave? Do you think last night's show was a home run, or do you think it was just an overall good show, but you feel like they could succeed what they did last night?
I would say it was a home run. It wasn't a grand slam, but it was a home run. I think I'd use a grand slam analogy more, but of course it's Turner, so we got to talk about baseball. But whatever. But yeah, I thought they did a great job. I mean, for their first show, look, the big difference in these two shows were AEW wasn't just about putting on a wrestling show. They're about just putting on match after match. No, that's what the other show did, just match after match after match, and that's fine. AEW is putting together different segments. Mm-hmm. They're putting together interviews, introducing you to the superstars, interviews, and doing all this other stuff that they needed to do, introducing you to new stars, bringing in Jake Hager, formerly Jack Swagger, who people might know from WWE days. And that's like, oh, look who that is. And that's what they were doing. They're trying to launch something for the long term. NXT is short term. Like, where they're going week to week to try and get a boost in ratings. AEW is going for the long haul. They're trying to go planning and booking for, like, what, I think they said 2 or 3 months at a time and going down the road.
Right. Well,
so that's what you want to do.
Exactly. You know, NXT is there forever. You know, it's not going anywhere.
Yeah, even if it got canceled on USA, it go right back to the network. So there's no issue with
that. But
the
AEW, they're in a constant battle week to week to stay alive as a company. Now, here's my question for you.
Exactly.
Before we get into NXT, we found out the ratings. All right, 1.4 AEW. I think it was like 861 for NXT. Another drop in the ratings. We all knew that they were not going to win last night. It would have been a huge fucking upset if NXT somehow defeat AEW last night, one-on-one in the ratings. Now,
and it shouldn't.
Exactly. It's not. We'll see, Red Sox fan. It's no longer a developmental no more. Triple H clarified it. It's no longer a developmental company show. No longer. You can call it that, but it's no longer a developmental show anymore. Now, with the ratings coming out and AEW pretty much torching NXT, do you feel like the pressure is on AEW now? Because now, in my opinion,
to sustain this, yeah,
AEW has to beat NXT next week and the week after and the week after and the week after. They should always destroy NXT. Don't you agree?
Yeah, and I think that's what's going to make this so much fun, though. Because you know the guys who are running NXT, Triple H and Shawn Michaels, the Road Dogg down there, they're going to try to do something to counteract some of this. And who's to say that NXT won't come close to AEW, but AEW isn't looking at NXT as any kind of threat or any kind of competition simply because they want to be competing with Raw and SmackDown, not AEW, or not NXT. They want to be compared to Raw and SmackDown. They don't want to be compared to NXT. So they might be on the same night, but they want to be compared with these guys, not their third brand, who for the last few years have been developmental. That's why they want next. They don't want NXT. They want Raw and SmackDown comparisons. They don't want that. But, yeah, I think it's going to be hard to sustain, and can you get the viewers to tune in again and again and again and again?
Right, yeah.
That's what
we all... Quack. Appreciate that. Oh, yes.
Had to hurry up and drop bits before Red Sox fan says some stupid shit that makes me leave.
Thank you, Speeds, for dropping in and showing some support. Appreciate that. Don't forget, guys, Speeds is going to be live tomorrow night, SmackDown Live recap show. And if you guys want to hang out afterwards, jump all over here. We will be live tomorrow night. Everybody, Impact watch parties are going on until October 29th.
Yeah.
That's when they officially end. So we have
You want to know something else
3 more
that's cool?
weeks. Go ahead.
This is what. Let's take out the AEW versus NXT. But if you add both those ratings together, over 2 million people watch wrestling on a Wednesday night.
Yeah, I agree. Now,
that's awesome.
Let's get to the chat room. I haven't looked at it being a developmental since we got the same guys push and new guys were in the rearview mirror. Absolutely. I think we all knew it wasn't a developmental. Some guys needed developing, of course. There's people there that still need a lot of, catering to. But Keith Lee, Matt Riddle, Adam Cole, Bobby Fish, all these guys Johnny Gargano, Ciampa, are these guys developmental guys? Like, fucking seriously now. Come on. So AEW got a 1.4 on their premiere. NXT got 1.2 on their premiere. Then lost 200,000 viewers the next week. I expect next week's show to lose viewership too and get a 1.1 or a 1.2. And AEW doesn't have much of anything advertised next week but Private Party versus the Young Bucks, which happened in HOG like 2 months ago, and the Bucks won. Okay, so Mr. Marion Watson said they're going to have a drop in the ratings next week. We'll see. Mr. AEW says, awesome for AEW. Honestly expecting to crush in its NXT just because it was their debut episode. Everyone had been waiting for this all year practically. It is important not to get overconfident, though. WWE is right about it being a marathon and not a sprint, even though their first match on the show was the NXT Championship match. The viewership can grow or decline from here on either show. AEW right now feels like it has more of a fresh product because it's completely new. Absolutely true right there. They signed 70% of the indies and don't use half of them, says Red Sox fan. I do agree that NXT has to figure out how to draw more so that they can guarantee to do well on the road and get out of Full Sail. Being in front of the same crowd every week won't help them versus AEW, and I agree with you. Look, I get it. NXT is more that gritty, kind of indie-like production. But it's more dark, stuff like that. It's more of a smaller crowd. It's just crazy when you go there, and then you flip over to AEW, and it's bright-ass colors. You got 14,000 people there instead of, 200 or 500, how many people they fit in NXT. I really feel like that hurts NXT when you watch that. Am I the only one that feels that way when you watch one show and it seems it's just kind of like it's a short, small crowd, but when you go and watch AEW, it's more of a vibrant, more excited, more pumped up crowd. And was I the only one feeling that last night, Dave?
The NXT crowd was pretty pumped up too in that show.
Okay, all right. Let's see. Continue on. Kevin Sullivan, you had Mark sit the fuck down. Oh my God, Red Sox fan. There's the issue with SmackDown, right? What? Tag team tourney starts next week. Says Bob Russi. Could Toast same 2 million be the ones still watching Raw and SmackDown? That's a good point there.
I don't think.
Speed says ratings should mean nothing to anyone outside of the companies themselves. Zero bearing on how good or bad the show is. Yeah, true. People are gonna watch. Like Speed says, if you like the show, you're gonna watch it. It shouldn't matter what the ratings are, and unless you're AEW and WWE, then the ratings matter. But why should we care so much? Other than we want to see AEW be successful, right?
Yeah, but I think we're in a day and age where it's not just with wrestling ratings, but it's with ratings in general. You always hear about shows breaking records, but because fans want to see these shows and see how with wrestling, we want to see how many people are watching ratings. And anytime Monday Night Raw ratings drop to under 2 million, people start criticizing and blaming WWE because the ratings were so bad, And then now it doesn't matter, but it does to fans, I think, because they want to see how many people are watching.
That's right. So that's right. That's what I saw. Moxley versus Spears next week. Winner gets a championship match. That's what I read. I could be wrong, but that's what I read. That's what I read on Twitter. That's a number one contenders match. I don't see how Spears gets a number one since he lost. But I guess he gets before the actual pay-per-view. Mm-hmm.
Well, that makes no sense.
Jericho's supposed to defend the title on one of these TV tapings, so maybe this is the match that he will face. But also, ratings don't matter to us, the viewer, because I saw a lot of people say NXT was better than AEW last night. I saw it on Twitter. People said NXT was the better show last night, and the ratings were lower. So it doesn't mean that it's a better show because the ratings are higher. Ratings are a slippery slope. It means...
I think it just depends on your preference,
right.
What you like or not.
Right,
yeah.
Exactly. It was fun watching NXT and not hearing that we are trending #1 worldwide. Keep it up, AEW. I hear a lot of other people starting to not like Morrow because he's starting to...
I've been on that bandwagon for a while.
Because he's starting to reference hip-hop stuff and stuff like that. And he instead of just calling it, he's acting like Kendrick Lamar, being humble. Like, what the fuck? Really, Morrow? What the fuck are you doing? Just call the goddamn match why they signed you and why you're supposed to be doing these matches.
I hate his Mamma Mia crap. I really do, because it feels like it's so rehearsed. His commentary feels so rehearsed when he's doing it. It just doesn't feel natural. It feels like he's trying to be over the top JR in NXT.
Mm-hmm. Yep.
Like a watered down
good point there, Sandero. Steven says, I felt that way too, Tony. NXT going to have the tour so they get bigger and louder crowds. Yeah. I feel like by 2020, NXT needs to be fucking on the road every Thursday, or every Wednesday, excuse me. I feel like they need to. Question, says Mr. AEW. They had a replay of AEW Dynamite after it was over live. Will they show a replay every week? I wonder if that will help NXT with the ratings in the future. I do think that it's on. That's what they kind of did with Nitro back in the day. They would show a replay, sometimes right afterwards, but more like later on in the evening, they would do replays, and I think they're going to continue doing that, which is smart. Because NXT,
just like WCW.
Because what NXT is doing now is going over now. They're going over 15 minutes. So they're saying, all right, you want to watch AEW, but when it's over, you come flip over here and watch the end of
exactly.
NXT.
And that's what we all did.
Which is smart. I mean, it's a smart move by WWE doing that. So overall, I think we all enjoyed AEW last night as a whole. Yes, it had some hiccups. Yes, it probably needs some work on certain things. Yes, some wrestlers need more time in the ring and before they're hot shotted up to, title shots and whatever have you. But overall, last night, watching AEW, seeing the production, seeing the amount of people, seeing how commentary was so good, I have no complaints. I thought last night, I would say it was an A+ show for AEW. Last night.
Yeah, I would agree. The only thing I would like to see a little bit more of is I would like to see Tony Schiavone do like kind of what he tried to do with the Lucha Brothers and SCU with the little promo they did. You didn't like do too much of it. Kind of like what a Mean Gene did back in the WCW days, where he'd say, "Coming out now is so and so," And I think I'd like to see them do more of that, which I really like.
NXT won't touch a million. Okay, so Red Sox fan.
Already have.
He said again. If they reach 1 million next week or anytime before then, you better come back on here and eat those fucking words. All right? Some wrestlers need less time in the ring. Cough, cough, Rio, cough, cough. Wow. Damn. Or Nyla Rose too needs some more time. I'm honestly surprised, being their first ever episode, and I'm not trying to dog the women's division. They didn't go with like a Britt Baker and Alley to two proven well-known good wrestlers. I'm surprised they didn't go that route. But I get what they're doing. Nyla Rose,
there you go.
Intergendered story. Rio, being, not from America, the diversity. I get it. I got it. Did you see their actual security company break up the fight? Really? I didn't see that. No, I'll follow the channel if they do.
That looked like Atlas Security from the old ECW days. I believe that's who it was.
That women's match sucked elephant wings, says Speeds.
Yeah, I agree with you though. I think they should have had like Allie and them on the show. Allie and Britt Baker in a match just to kind of do something different, showcase the women a little bit more. Maybe they did showcase their tag teams, but it's 1 week. They got plenty of time to do that, but I agree with you. But yeah, we probably should move on to something else right now.
We got about 20 more minutes left of the show. We're good. They need to turn Brett heel. The way she came off during the post AEW All Out post show was like kind of bitchy. Yeah, she kind of had that moody attitude last night on commentary. She didn't really seem very happy to be on commentary and not in the match. All right, let's jump over to NXT, everybody. What's up, Kokina? Thank you, everybody, for joining us. Don't forget, we are Getdatables podcast. New schedule, everybody. Live Thursday, Fridays, and Saturdays. Thursdays will be our AEW and NXT recap shows. Friday, for the time being, until Impact goes to Access, we'll be doing our Impact watch parties on Friday nights. And on Saturday, we will be doing our still shoot the shit, rumors and innuendos, all that good stuff. That's when we'll touch on SmackDown from Friday night. And we'll get you guys ready for Hell in a Cell, which is this Sunday, which only has 3 current matches on the fucking card.
That's crazy.
Unreal. Well, they did dark matches, and we soon might be able to watch. Now, I saw you ask this question, Babaruski, and I don't know if you were answered it. Are they counting those on the win losses, or is it don't count because it's a dark match? That's what I want to know. Good. That's I saw you ask that. The only thing I didn't like was the ref was outside the ring, standing next to the wrestlers. You need to change the schedule on the top right on your screen. Yeah, I need to change that up. I might have to dial up speeds and throw him a couple of bucks to help me up with this layout. Thanks for the reminder, Mr. AEW. Forgot about that. Heel Brett versus Rio and have Nyla go on and do a feud with Allie. Maybe join up with Brandy for a little while would be a good start for their women's match. I forgot all about Hell in a Cell, to be honest, says Truth and Loyalty. I think a lot of people.
Yeah,
Steven says, I don't mind Morrow, but I hated last night. He kept trying to promote Hell in a Cell, so at least 2 to 3 matches kept saying they're going through their own hell during the match. Yeah.
Well, of course they gotta do. They gotta do that. Hell in a Cell this weekend. They gotta promote their own show. Come on. I don't blame them for that. I think Morrow's commentary just gets. I don't know. I just get sick of it sometimes.
All right, so let's move